So I had this customer ask me to take this plan and develop something that would have a balcony, and our balcony would be somewhere right in here, right there. The problem I see with this plan is that it's too short in this direction to get a stair run of, from here up to there without interfering with these entries, the entry into this bedroom or that closet. So sometimes it's harder to, oh look, there's the beds. I was trying to show the customer how big the bed was going to be in the room, and why this bedroom's too small, but I digress. So I was trying to figure out a way to communicate this. Well, my plan was better than this one up here, and one of the things I was going to do is show them graphically how the stair would work. And to do that, I'm just going to draw like a section, a stair section. So what we have here is a 9-foot wall, and how that is laid out is pretend this line is your floor decking. We'll just go ahead and put a 3/4 inch line there to represent your Advantech. Then your bottom plate, and this is cutting through the wall. So this is your 1.5-inch bottom plate. Then your studs for a 9-foot wall are 104 5/8. So I'll back out and go up there. Okay, that's the length of your stud. Let me get rid of that little face. Then you have two top plates, a top plate and a double top plate. So that gives you 3 inches. And based on these spans, I think I'm going to have some kind of 2x10s at 16 inches on center will only span like 12'6" at a decent deflection rate. So that's about 14 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and assume we're going to have like 12 inches of joist, like a TGI or wood eye joist or something like that. That's 12 inches. And then you'll have a 3/4, excuse me, 3/4 of an inch of subfloor. So that's how we get the height of the wall. Okay, so then you say, okay, well, we got to have a stair. All right, so up here, the easiest way I've found to do this is just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show the finished floor up here hanging out, I don't know, an amount for now. We're going to have, it's going to be 1 3/4 inches. Let me just redo that, and I'll show you why later. 1.75. And we go up 3/4. That'll be our bull nose. Actually, that'll just be our flooring thickness, because our bull nose would hang down a little bit. So that's what we do. It's what I do, especially, is I'll get my finished floor shown, and I'll grab my little tape measure, and I'll come down here to this finished floor. This is my 3/4 inch wood floor line, and I've got 10-foot 1 7/8. Okay, so what we would do is go to our calculator. I know 10 feet is 120 inches. So let's see what 7 divided by 8 is. 875. I should have known that already. So what we would have is 121.875 inches. Okay, let me do that again so you can see. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so now what I do is I start off taking that 121 and 7/8. I take my rise and I divide it by 7.5 just to see. That's my optimal. That's, in my opinion, that's the best stair riser. So I'm just curious if I can get 7.5 into it, and that comes out to be 16.25. Okay, so I know that I can get I know if I divided 121.875 by 16, yeah, I would come up with 7.61. And that's okay. 7.61 inches. Let's see, let's just make that, let's see, 2 inches tall for right now. 125. And we'll place that right here. You can see, we'll just call that our first option. Okay, so our second option would be 121.875 divided by 17, which would be 7.169. So our second option would be 17 risers at 7.169. Okay. So now you just have to decide. Your 17 risers it means you're going to have 16 treads. Okay, and that means your stair is going to be longer. We're going to have 15 treads on this stair at 7.61. Now this, I'm pretty sure that's close to 5/8. What's 5 divided by 8? Yeah, that's basically 7 5/8. So that's not a bad riser. The closer this number gets to 7 3/4, the more. If it gets any more than this, I'm going to go ahead and add another riser to get it down. So we're going to say that we're going to go with the 16 risers. Okay, so that's kind of a little exercise I go through, and I might as well put up here for the sake of the video that I had. Where's my text thing? I had 21.875 inch rise. Okay, that's what we start off with. And let me just make sure, because I'm doubting myself now, 121.875 divided by 17. Yeah, that's right. Okay, just wanted to double check my math before I put this into a forever video. Okay, so we're gonna go with the 16 risers because, I mean, even an older person, 7 5/8 is not, if it was 7 3/4, I would start to, which is our max in residential, the maximum riser height allowed, I would start to question it. But I think 16 keeps it shorter, 10 inches shorter, and we're good. One little thing you can do to quickly show just a rough stair is take your pencil, your drawing device, and just go up 7.61, then come over 10, and let's see, was that 10? Yep, it was. Why does this look like more than, that's an optical illusion, isn't it? That looked too close to the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over here just for now, and I'm going to copy it up 15 times because you have 16 risers. Okay, that's the math, but your top riser is this landing. Okay, so if you're counting risers on your actual 2x12 stringer, you're only going up 15 risers. And so I've already got one drawn. So when I copy this one up, I'm just going to say times 14. Okay, see, and that kind of quickly drew a stair for me. And I'm just going to put myself a construction line at that angle. And I know my 2x12 is 11.25. Okay, so this is actually the stringer that I'm drawing out, the 2x12 that's laying up on our, and for now I'm just going to draw this like that. And I wish I need to put this in a view where faces don't show. So that's actually my 2x12. And so what I'll usually do is make a group out of that. This would be sitting on the, did I get my, yeah, that's my subfloor line right there. And that's why I draw these out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to run my my finished floor on over here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of draw over this what actually I'm going to have. So what I like to do on my stairs is I like to have a permanent 3/4, a permanent sheet of Advantech, piece of Advantech as like a temporary tread. It's not actually temporary, it's permanent. So, because what I do is I leave this there and I figure it into the height of my risers. And it's a lot safer because a lot of people in construction will, when they're building their stairs, is they'll just nail down some temporary 2x4s until they get their finished stairs on there. I'm going to copy this up times 14 like that. That should get me one all the way up. Yep. Okay, so I'm looking good here. Let's check this. Yep, 7 5/8. So as long as we do the same thing to every riser, we're good. Now, the other thing I'm going to be doing is adding a 3/4 inch riser material, and it will basically go up here, and that's going to be a 7 1/4, 0.25. You'll see why that works in a second. It doesn't look like it's going to work, but it does. Okay, so I'm going to put one of these. Forgot to add one down here, didn't I? There, and then I'm going to copy it 13 times because I already had it times 13. Okay, so now I've got my finished riser. That's going to be a 1/8. It gets painted or stained. If it gets stained, it'll be oak. If it gets painted, it'll be a piece of poplar or something like that, a piece of pine. Okay, now I have a oak tread that we typically would put down. That's 1 inch thick, 1 inch, and so it goes against, and this is why that little gap doesn't matter. It'll come out, and it's 11 1/4, 11.25. You see, and then it's rounded, but I'm just going to show it as square for now. Oops. And those faces are going to drive me nuts. I need to. Okay, so I'm going to delete the construction lines, and I'm going to copy my tread. Now this is a finished tread. This is a piece of oak or whatever. Times 14. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of our, this is our actual thing, and this is why earlier when I drew, I should have drawn one of these. We'll copy that. I'm going to go out of that group, and then I'm going to paste it right here. This will also have one here, see? Now, this is where it kind of gets a little interesting. You can see that top. I'm going to leave this right here for a second, okay? Because now what you can see, this is going to demonstrate why you cut off the bottom of your stringer. If I go from my finished floor on the top of the landing to the finished floor here, I've only got 6 3/4, okay? I should have 7 point, what was it, 61? Yeah, 7.61. I'm trying to keep the math the same. 7.61. Okay, so this whole thing here, that's why I made this a group. This is how much I'm going to cut off the bottom. Okay, that's 7/8 of an inch. Okay, remember that. And so now this trim piece, the reason we let this top bullnose hang over that far is so we can come back. You see how well that worked? It just snapped right in there. This trim piece covers up your floor framing, whatever it is, okay? So now we go down here and we can see in our drawing, and this is helpful, that when we cut this the bottom tread of our stringer, the bottom of it has to be cut off. That's 7/8. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and show that, but you have to remember when you're cutting your stringers, that part has to be cut off. And I don't know why that little piece is on there. Okay, must have been something else. Okay, and the whole point of this exercise was to show my customer how long the stair is, okay, and how much headroom you would have underneath it. And just connect it with that one. Yeah, because at some point there will be finished flooring underneath, and this was the bottom of the subfloor. And of course, if you wanted to get anal, you could show your 12-inch joist down here, which probably will have 12 or 14-inch wood eye joists for down there too. But mainly what I'm trying to show is this open area under the stair. Now, I don't need this wall, even though it's helpful, because if you did have a wall, you can see here on my, well, here we go. This is helpful because on my version, their bedroom comes out underneath the stair and turns back, and the stair keeps going, okay? So depending on where we are, and see, this is good. This is why we do these sections. It tells me that when I get to here, when I get to 12 feet forward, then I would normally line these things up. See, what I would normally do is I would move this whole thing over. Let me hold my shift key down to make the axis lock, and then I can go up here and reference that. And that's why these sections are helpful. The point is that I can either now, wish I'd left my line there now. I can either leave the stair on this drawing. I've got options. I can either move this wall back right here to here, which is probably what I'll do because they've already got more space in here, or I'll actually just move the stair on the, that's what I'll do, because they've got like 4 feet here. I really didn't want this stair to come any closer to the front door, and see, that's kind of the point. You really want to be able to open your door and have space. You don't want, you know, let's say we ended up with a big old newel post down here. You know, that reminds me, you don't want your door hitting your newel post. I've seen some pretty big newel posts, you know. So that's what all this is for. That's this exercise of going through and literally drawing every piece of what is going to happen. You can see where this comes into play, where now if I line up their plan with the length of a stair, what is that? Let's just say, let me put me a line right here. Oops, didn't want a line, I wanted the construction line. There, and then one at the bottom of the stair. That is 12'6" and a quarter. That's actually the run of that stair. Okay, you can see I've got it all worked out on my drawing, but on theirs, if we just lined up even if we started, let's say we start 4 feet after the door. Let's give ourselves a line right here, and then we go 4 feet, 48. I'm going to delete that one so I don't get confused. And so that means I need to move this another 5 1/8. Let's just move it 5 inches this way. And then I can delete this line, because we should be close to 4. There we go. Yeah. All right, so now what I can tell the owner is, you see the stair will start here, and this door, I can draw a line right here, and then I can follow that line down, go all the way down to here, and I can show them that there's not enough room under the stair to have a door. You see, if they wanted to literally, and the best thing to do is not to flirt with this area at all. And what we typically do with this area under the stair is we'll have a short door, and we'll have a little closet under there, you know, that you can store your Christmas stuff in. And if we're going into a bedroom, we do it on this side of this wall. And you can see here that's not going to work because of all this stuff. And so I can demonstrate that this house needs to be elongated like mine, like the option that I have. Because in my head I knew, you know, I've been doing this long enough, I can see this stuff three-dimensionally in plan. When I draw this stair, I know what it looks like in 3 dimensions. So my bed needs to come back. So I must have moved it somehow. Yeah. So, and also in this plan, you know, the bedroom is bigger, and the path, I'm allowing for 3 feet openings, 3 feet doors for wheelchairs, you know, to come through here. There's not going to be any chest of drawers here. If there are, it's going to be something small. This is the shortest path, you know, from here to there. And then from here, they can go through the center of the room. You've got chest of drawer here, chest of drawer there, chest of drawer there. If you go up here and look, I forgot to move my bed down. You know, that's really the only wall you've got right there. And when you come in this door, you've got a straight path right to this bathroom. That means this whole wall right here is eat up with the what's my word? Circulation. Thank you. So this part of the bedroom's eat up. This part next to the bed's eat up. You can't put any chest of drawers here. You might be able to put one here and still get a wheelchair between. You need at least 34 inches. I've got, 3 feet 2. There's no room to have a chest of drawers here. You can't put it on an angled wall. The only place in the whole room is right here, and this is right beside the bed. So what I'm trying to do is demonstrate to them that this plan is too small anyway. I don't like this plan, and they like it. They love it. When people are looking at these plans, they aren't looking at them spatially, where they're not imagining, space around objects that are real, so I'm not even sure. Oh, that's some kind of island right there. So that's why in my plan, you've got all this room for circulation throughout the house. Now I got to work on this mudroom. I don't like it, and this is the point of this house is it's a tiny house for this older couple to live in. It's on the same property as their children's house. And I'm going to direct them to this video, and I'm just thinking about them. I'm not sure what this line honestly indicates on this plan. Maybe that's the peak of a vaulted ceiling. I think that's what that is. But in our case, would be where the balcony would be. we're going to have a balcony in this whole area up here. Just some added space for their grandkids to play in and that kind of thing. And that's the whole point of the stair. But this stair will add a lot of character to this living area. It'll be really nice. You can have that storage area underneath, and it'll be really nice. All right, so that is just in a nutshell why we do our stair sections and how you show your finished materials. Did we ever check this bottom riser? 7 3/4. So what we need to do is go back up here, and what do we have here? 7 5/8. What we would need to do, and this is allowed by code, is, and this is the perfect example of why you have to be careful. That 7 3/4 could very easily turn out to be something that will come back to haunt you. So what you're going to want to do is, why am I not being able to select? There we go. You're going to want to actually plan for this to be at least, let's see. Now see, this is why I would have. I'm going to move it down a 1/16. Just because I don't want the building inspector to come in and say, oh, it's 7 3/4, you know. Now we got selecting the wrong point here. Yeah, 7 11/16. That's where we want to be. You don't want to be anywhere around that 7 3/4 mark, and we should be the same up here. Yeah, 7 11/16. There you go. Now, what you'll do is you'll remember that, because you went through this whole process of drawing this out. Now what you can do is you can measure from this line down to that line, not the bottom one. That's the one you're going to take off. That needs to be 6 11/16, your bottom piece. But you take that off the bottom. Don't start cutting it out of here. Okay? When you start adjusting your stringer, make sure you cut it off the bottom. Don't cut it off this right here. Right, so I'm going to leave that like that just to remind me. And so what I usually do is I'll take and cut my stringer. I'll just cut these two cuts, and these top 2 cuts, okay? And I have all my pencil marks on there, but I'll just cut these top 2 cuts and the bottom 2 cuts, and I'll set it up here, and I'll put a level on that cut to see if it's level. And then I'll measure down. See, this drawing allows you to measure. Now you can measure from your subfloor, which is all you have when you're framing. You don't have your finished floor there right then, down to your top of your stringer. And see, if I told you needed to come down 8 11/16 and put your stringer there, people would be looking at me like a weirdo. They'd be, well, how do you know that? And I do this a lot. I trick my framer sometimes. I'll say, hey, Paco, you need to come down 8 11/16. And he's like, oh, no, man. Oh, no, man. I'm like, yes, man. Yes, man. He forgets I like this 3/4 of an inch Advantech permanent. You see, I had designed that in permanently because it's safer to have that Advantech on these stairs while you're building. It's like having a subfloor on your steps, and it makes them real strong. When you go back and put this finished tread on here, you can just screw into this and you can glue it down if you want to. We usually use silicone. I usually don't glue mine down because I don't like them permanently affixed. We'll use silicone. That'll also make them quieter. They won't squeak as much. And of course, if you use trim screws, a good heavy trim screw will keep it from squeaking too. The nails are what squeak. The nails rubbing against the wood is what squeaks. It's not actually the wood squeaking. It's the nails you missed into loose wood. But anyway, that's just probably a little bit longer video than what I meant for it to be, but it just demonstrates what you're looking at when you're looking at a plan view of a stair. It'll help you visualize, three-dimensionally what it actually is. All right, well, thanks for watching.